Alright, so here we have a couple of convict cichlids. That's a male right here, trying to protect his female right there with the fry. So what we're gonna do, this baby's almost hatched, so she keeps them in the corner there. Let me just wipe off over here for better viewing pleasure. And yeah, so there's probably 200 fry right there, so she's protecting them. But at this stage I usually remove this fry and I keep them in a separate tank, so so this pair can start mating again, because these fish, they drop every 2 weeks pretty much. Every 2 weeks. This is my oldest convict cichlid male. He's about 2 years old. Very nice body shape he has. And the female is kind of younger. I removed the older female. She stopped breeding, and there was no action between those two, so I put the younger female in. You can see the female is much smaller than the male, and the female has blue color around, unlike male. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do with this fry is grow them to about 1.5 to 2 inch long, and I use this fry as live food for my Dovies. This way I'm gonna have to avoid buying goldfish feeders and get some type of parasite in my Dovii. So this is a proven method. Some people will say this is cruel, feeding, you know, fish to other bigger fish, but Dovii are the predatory fish, so I try to give them once a week live food, so they remember, you know, the origins of where they came from, and usually it's the lakes and rivers of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and suburban areas there. So they usually, that's all they eat. They pretty much hunt for fish. Sometimes they go without eating for days, and then yes, they do eat bugs. So if in case something falls on the top of the water, they pick it up. They're carnivores, so they do eat meat, but mostly it's fish. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to give them what they usually eat in the nature, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as the food, the live food that you provide is healthy for them. So also it keeps their predatory instincts intake. So just giving them pellets and shrimp. You know, sometimes you have to give them live food. You don't have to, but in my case I prefer to give them live fish once a week, because it's not easy to take them off that food. But yeah, so let me just show you how I separate this fry. I pretty much just take out the whole pot and put the fry into a new empty tank. So I'm gonna remove the top here, and I'm gonna reach the pot. The male may be protecting, exactly, he's biting me, but let me see if I can take it out. The female, I think, is still there, so I have to be very careful to remove her so she doesn't splash all the babies out. Let me see. I'm gonna use this stick over here, see if I can lightly tell her to leave the pot. And here we go. So now I can easily remove this pot from here. Hopefully none of the fry comes out. So I'm gonna be very gentle here. I'm gonna have to lift this last top. Okay. A little bit more. Alright, so far so good. Some water will come out. can't really see them here, but okay, so I'm about to pour the fry into this 10-gallon tank. And this is gonna be their temporarily place to live in until they reach to about half an inch, and then I'm gonna transfer them to a bigger tank so they can keep growing. Okay, so the fish is transferred. I'm just gonna cover top of the tank with glass top, and let's see if we can zoom in on these babies. Yeah, they're moving pretty good. So what I'm gonna do also is next to this tank I have another tank with a smaller fry. So at this point I remove the heater from this tank and give it to newly hatched babies. So let me just put this heater in here, and I'm keeping it at I think 29, 30. Yeah, 29. See 28, 29. So yeah, this way the fry will digest the yolk that they're still feeding off faster, and they will eventually grow faster, having a temperature at 30, 29, 30, and then we're gonna start feeding this fry, and eventually they're gonna go into this 40-gallon tank. So these guys right here, they're about, I don't know, they're about a quarter of an inch. Then this batch right here is smaller than these. So I'm feeding these guys 3 times a day just to buff them up so I can transfer them over to the next bigger tank. But yeah, so I'm just gonna give them these smaller fish some food. This is gonna be their 3rd time fed. I'm giving them flakes. If you have access to Artemia, brine shrimp in other words, you can feed them that and they will grow even faster than on flakes. So these fry are raised on flakes, and make sure that they're small. We crash them before giving to them. The bigger pieces they will just rip, but there's different size fish here, so it's gonna be easier for them to eat if you crash. And then I feed these guys about once a day. The reason for that is I want to, of course, keep the water clean, and I want them to grow slower than these guys. I want these guys to get size, and then I transfer them here, so I can empty the next tank for the next batch. And yeah, this is how I breed my convict cichlids, for one purpose only, is to feed to my Dovii, so my Dovii gets that predatory instinct going, instead of just feeding them, you know, food that doesn't move. So there's one red shrimp living in this 10-gallon tank next to Fry. He doesn't look like he wants to eat them. They're kind of big for him, but this is the only shrimp that survived in this tank. There was like 10 of them, and because of the water quality, these shrimp are very sensitive. So he's the only inhabitant here next to this fry here that are about to be growing for my Dovies. Where is he? Oh, right here. He went to investigate. What's going on here? Why there's so many new friends? Can really see it well. You know. It's probably 200 of them.